Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. To follow us on Instagram, go to No Name Music Cast Podcast. To send us an email, it's nonamemusiccast@gmail.com. And to visit our website, go to nonamemusiccast.com. Now, on with the show. Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome to the No Name Music Cast. My name's Tim, and this is
Joy.
And here we are recording a new episode. We took last week off, but however, as you know, service is never interrupted in the world of the No Name Music Cast.
Of course. It might just be that Joy's really busy and everything kept popping up all at once.
Well, it happens. I mean, we go through spells of recording lots of episodes and not so many episodes. So, taking a week off is fine.
Yes. And with that being said, Tim would like to start you guys off with some music news that I may have just found out and screamed at him right before the episode. So I'll let you take it from here.
Absolutely. So just before we hit record and play this evening, we had some incredibly sad news that Ace Frehley, the Space Ace, lead guitarist and also a solo artist from Kiss, he sadly passed away today.
It literally was, I was bringing up my articles for the episode and I went, did you know? And Tim's like, well, there's my music news. I was shocked. Like, I don't know why. I mean, I guess we have to take it. He's got to be in his 70s, right?
Yeah, he's 74. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of rock stars that are older than him that are still out there getting it done. The thing is with the Space Ace, he'd had a fall in his studio and he'd sustained some kind of head injury, I believe. And he was hospitalized and he was moved to the ICU today because he had some kind of brain bleed. And a lot of news sources were saying that it wasn't looking good for Ace Frehley. And literally, you said just before we hit record tonight, we got the news, and now it's everywhere. By the time you listen to this episode, people will be talking about Ace Frehley and his work with Kiss and his solo material and the fact that he was touring up to recently. But I mean, it's incredibly sad. It's another one of these icons, and from here on in, all we're going to have is icons being lost.
Wow. Thanks for that bit of hope and happiness, Tim.
Well, it's true. All the musicians that you like, all the entertainers that you like, all the people that that shaped you as a person are 75 plus years old.
It's true. It is true. I know. But I try to ignore it. I just try to pretend, Tim. And as we all know now, Dolly is okay as far as we're aware.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Dolly went on Instagram. And she sat there and she explained about everything, that she was doing fine and she just had a few health concerns she had to take care of, but it was nothing serious. And other than that, she was fine. I think what it is, I think she has a couple of sisters. And I think one of her sisters had press released something to the effect of please pray for Dolly.
That's exactly what happened.
And then another one of her sisters put up on some social media channel something to the same effect and saying that Dolly was sick. And it was just... I don't know. Dolly's sisters need to be part of the Dolly Parton press
PR
machine. Yeah, know when to release information about someone as treasured as Dolly Parton.
I think they were doing the classic thing that any family member does when they're like, thoughts and prayers, insert whatever here. But they didn't take into account that their sister is Dolly Parton. That's what I think happened based off of Dolly's reaction. She's like, yeah, I had a conversation with them that they can't just say that because... Well, I'm a famous musician, so.
Absolutely. But getting back to our recently lost rock icon, Ace Frehley. Now, as I said previously, he was the original lead guitarist in Kiss. He was in and out of Kiss. He was there at the very beginning, but sort of to the mid to later period of Kiss, he wasn't really involved. They did have a reunion tour with him at one point. But I think he had a lot of inner demons with drink and drugs and otherwise. And that sort of stopped him from being bigger than he was as a solo artist, in my opinion.
I could agree with that. But he is iconic in his own right. And I see I love him with his little star and his flames going off his guitar and very high moon boots. He's
Yeah, I mean,
iconic for what he is.
yeah, he was there at the very beginning of the Kiss journey. He created
Mhm.
that character, the spaceman. I mean, they changed rock and roll forever with the theatrical element. I mean, the fact that he had that Les Paul custom guitar, which had smoke and flames coming out the neck pickup cavity. I mean, that is legendary in guitar circles. And I mean, as you got into some of the Kiss albums, I mean, he may have been credited on it, but he wasn't even playing on them. As I said, because some of the demons that were controlling his life. But, an absolute icon, somebody that is irreplaceable. There'll be never be another Ace Frehley. I mean, he's not really a guitar influence for me, really. I mean, I like some of those early Kiss songs, and I don't listen to that stuff and think, yeah, that's the guy. I don't get the same feeling that I do for someone like Brian May or Eddie Van Halen or something. But, an absolute icon.
But I've said many times, and I've been through this, it's really not that different than someone being into like musical theater or something of that nature, right, Tim? Like, I actually enjoy and appreciate the fact that they say, this is what the show we're putting on, this is the machine we're doing, this is who we are. Because I enjoy that. And I think sometimes one thing that gets lost, I've quoted Brady in the podcast a few times, but she said this to me one time, and I agree with her. Happiness is an emotion. Everybody's like, why is this music so, like insert cliche? But if it brings me happiness, that's cool, right? Like that's an emotion that I like. So why are we so down on it? So I will give him some credit and say that that is what I enjoy. And the machine that is Kiss in its own right, I like. I do. I give them, and at least they've never once strayed away from who they are. I'm
No,
just saying.
they were a theatrical money making machine first and foremost, and a rock band after that. But yeah,
All
icons,
right.
completely irreplaceable. There will be never be another Kiss.
And with that, rock in peace. All right.
Rock in
So
peace, to you,
I
sir.
have. Yes, Tim's favorite words. I took them away from him. But with that being said, I have two bits of music news before we get into the topic. So these are a little bit older than what we just gave you hot off the presses because maybe me and Tim were supposed to record when I originally found these and we didn't. But with that being said, there's still music news. So Slashes, have you seen this about Slashes giving fans hope about a new Guns N' Roses album, Tim?
Yes, I read some information about apparently that is on the cards. I think they've got demos or something like that.
So basically, what it says is in a recent interview with Guitar World magazine, one of Tim's favorites, the guitarist said that the band has plenty of music to work with. And while a whole new album is coming, there's still no official release date. He said there's so much material at this point, it's a matter of having the discipline to sit back, sit down, and I'm not going to use the words he used because there's some cuss words in there, and get to it. That's from Slash. He says, but the thing with Guns is, in my experience, you can never plan ahead. You could never sit down and go, we're going to take this time and we're going to do this. Every time we do, it all just falls apart. It doesn't surprise me with what I know about Guns N' Roses. I'm going to be honest with you, Tim.
No, I mean, the other thing you have to bring into consideration, all of the classic Guns N' Roses songs, the songs that you love, the songs that you grew up with, the songs that are iconic by Guns N' Roses, are written or co-written by Izzy Stradlin. Izzy Stradlin
Yes.
used to be the original rhythm guitarist in Guns N' Roses. He hasn't been
Mm-hmm.
in that band since I think about the mid '90s. And a lot
Yeah.
of people are saying is that new Guns N' Roses music will never be any good because it isn't written by Izzy Stradlin. He was the heart and soul of the songwriting team in the band.
I'll give him a little bit of credit. I don't know if it'll be good, but I do think there is something to be said. It won't be the same, right, Tim? And it will never be the same. But what they did ask him, well, how does, the creative group process goes? He goes, it's spontaneous. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's like the most unanswer answer out there, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, one thing you can say about Guns N' Roses currently touring is that they all
Mhm.
learned how to be friends again because there's a lot of money involved because they're playing huge stadiums and there's a lot of revenue coming in from that.
Yeah, they
Making an
have some very
album,
famous quotes out there about they would never be together again.
yeah, but making an album will make nothing. It's an exercise
That's
in
true.
doing it for the sake of doing it. They're not going to really sell any physical stuff. It's get played on Spotify however many million times, and they'll make $20,000 off it or something. And that's it. It's done. It's not like you can go and play a stadium in Sao Paulo and they all walk away with $300,000 each or something.
Well, speaking of albums that will probably be pointless and not make any money, let's go into my next music news. Madonna is going to do an untold chapter of bedtime stories with a new EP. Belated 30th anniversary release includes remixes, alternate versions, demos of the 1994, and an unreleased version of Right on Time. And I'm like, did anybody tell you we really wanted this, Madonna? Probably not.
Well, I mean, Madonna's out there. She's still trying to remain relevant. She's still trying to be the Madonna of old. But I think at this point, when in the recorded works of Madonna, all people want is the classics. I don't think there's a huge appetite for new Madonna music or reworkings of old Madonna music.
I will say she did dip a bit into her old musical vault, but they said the chapter list looks like this: Survival, Secret, Right on Time, Don't Stop, Freedom, her version of Human Nature, which I don't think I've ever even heard, Love Down Your Guard, and Love Won't Wait, which is an original demo. I don't know. I just read it and was kind of like, I like Madonna. I enjoy Madonna's music. I don't enjoy some of her theatrics we've talked about ad nauseum on the podcast. We don't even need to bring it up. But just when you said that, I'm kind of like, is there really anyone out there thinking we want a new untold chapter of bedtime story? Is that, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like what the people really ask for.
I mean, I'm sure there's a hardcore of Madonna fans who are literally can't wait for this. I mean, like, I got the Sammy Hagar album when that came out. I'm incredibly excited about this live album of him playing old Van Halen songs with Joe Satriani on guitar. I mean, I might even review it next week. I mean, I love it so much. But I would say you don't care about that. Hannah doesn't care about that. And there's a good proportion of the population who really don't care about it at all. But to me, it's important. But maybe there are Madonna fans who literally can't wait for this.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, if they're out there, good for you. But she's doing it. If you enjoy it, go crazy. It's just funny the way you segue right into that. And anyway, with that being said, let's get into tonight's topic. So I was moseying around the internet trying to go, what should we talk about? What should we talk about? And Tim lives rent free in my head on who he thinks deserves a Grammy, as we've talked about on this podcast. Another thing that has come up, and I'm going to call out a few listeners here. And if you're listening and you know you said this to me, I'm talking to you about women in rock music. So I did an episode where I discussed women in rock and kind of like brought up a lot of good musicians that were females. And then I kind of was like, what if I combine the two? So I found out, and this is very sad to me, there was a Grammy Award for the best female rock performance. And this was available from 1980 to 2004. Now, here's where I'm not happy with what the Grammy people, I don't know what they call themselves, Tim, there's a name for them. But basically, they now have, the category was combined with Grammy Award for Best Male Rock Performance and presented as a genderless category, Best Rock Performer Solo. The solo later, then it was later named Best Solo Rock Vocal Performance in 2005. This has been completely criticized because, the Academy, that's what they call themselves, Tim, has cited that they just can't find any women to be part of this.
Yeah, that's the thing, because the default position, I'm sure, would be for dudes. And it misses out so many iconic, amazing female performers.
Which is who we're going to go through right now. So we're going to just start at the beginning, get through as many as we can. If we don't get through them at the end, I'll just run through them real quickly because there's quite a few really good artists and nominees on this list that it will take us some time to get through it. And it starts in 1980. And Stevie Nicks holds the record for the most holds the record for the most nominations without a win, 5. Thanks, Stevie Nicks. So with that being said, some of these are going to be, I was surprised on a few of them because I wouldn't have necessarily put them in the rock world, but I also understand where they're kind of coming from. And I'm not 100% familiar with all of the nominees. So this was a very interesting experience for me. And it does make me sad that basically there's a lot of pushback right now because it's rock, they're just giving it to men. That's literally what every article I read said. When they mashed the categories together, it lost some of its ability to isolate and talk about really good female rock artists because they do exist, whether you want to admit it or not.
Sure. I mean, I think they were probably trying to be good with their original intention, but ultimately it has failed.
I think so too. There was probably some initial thought in it, but then the backlash was like, well, why is every nominee a man ever since you did this? Like, you know what I'm saying, Tim? Like, I think maybe the concept was there, but it didn't work out. So with that being said, we're going to start in 1980. This is probably the most surprising one on here who won and the song, because I've never once associated it as a rock song, though it does have some rock elements to it. It's Donna Summer's Hot Stuff.
Now,
I don't know that I equate that.
I think it's much like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where rock is seen as an attitude, as a state of mind, as a way of life, rather than actual genre of music. Because if you go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, it has rap, it has dance, it has pop, it has, they will have Metallica's guitars next to Katy Perry's outfit and TLC's this, that, the other. It's all different. There's a whole part of that thing that talks about R&B music, and I think it's just seen rock and roll as just seen as a way of life rather than a genre. And I think the Grammy probably is the same. So by giving Donna Summer a Grammy for best rock performance, I think that's what they're going for.
So obviously, the first thing you're going to think is she's the queen of disco, right, Tim? Like, that's where our brains all going to go. But I will say, Hot Stuff, where at the beginning where it's like, sitting here in my heart, it does have some kind of rocky elements to it. I wouldn't say it's rock, but I kind of hear where they're going for and why they might associate it that way. I mean, it's a great song. I love Donna Summer. Even though we've talked about that she's maybe not personally my best person, we can separate the music from the artist. Just say that about Donna Summer. But I love this song. I love everything Donna Summer. Now, the nominees for that year are all over the place, but I thought they were interesting. You have Sydney Bullins with Survivor. I didn't even know she did a version of Survivor. Ricky Lee Jones, The Last Chance Texaco. Does that ring a bell to you, Tim? Because it doesn't me.
I know who Ricky Lee Jones is, but the song, no.
Now, Bonnie Raitt, obviously I know who Bonnie Raitt is. You're going to get What's Coming to You, Carly Simon, Vengeance, and then Tanya Tucker, who is a country singer, but I guess she did a version of TNT.
Okay.
I'm assuming AC&D, TNT. I don't know. Don't come for me, internet. I have no idea. That's 10 years before I was born, and she didn't win. Now, 1981, you're not going to be surprised by this win. This is Pat Benatar, and it's Crimes of Passion. Now, that was the surprising one to me. I wouldn't have thought Crimes of Passion. Is that the album, though, or is that the song? Was there a song from that album, Tim?
I think it's maybe the album. I don't recognize that as a song name.
Why does it have it as that listed? Hold on. Let's see if I can do some official. And by official, I'm Googling it because for some reason it's listed under the album, but I don't think that was a song. I think it's... Oh, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. That's got to be what she won for on that album, Tim. There's no way.
Yeah, it would have to be. And I've recorded that song with a member of the Freak Jam, Jenny, in fact, and we made a video. It's up on YouTube, so I'm incredibly familiar with that song.
It's a great song. Pat Benatar, of all women, deserves, if you're going to give rock, she's one of those people, right, Tim? If you're going to give people who do rock music as females a Grammy, I feel like she has to be it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, there's no way that she... And with that being said, she won the next year, too.
No.
For the song Fire and Ice, which is also a great song. So we'll skip past because it's her again. Now, the people who were in the lineup for the Crimes of Passion, which I just determined is the album and so on and so forth, was Joan Armatrading.
Oh, Joan Armatrading is amazing. Have you not heard of Joan Armatrading?
Not off the top of my head.
She's a British artist.
Okay.
She had a song called Love and Affection.
She got one of those CBEs.
Yeah, she had a song called Love and Affection. You might know a song of hers called Drop the Pilot. That was like a famous song by hers. Song, yes. And I have a rock and roll connection to Joan Armatrading. I once played a gig in a country club or golf club somewhere. I forget where it was. It was like Woking or Addleston or somewhere a bit West London and out a little bit. And I used to play in this band with my boss from work who played guitar. He had a band called Men Behaving Sadly.
Ah.
Okay. But this band was sort of like a few randos and men behaving sadly people. And this was like a last minute gig type thing.
Play on that TV show, Men Behaving Badly, I'm guessing,
this
right?
band was called Men Behaving Sadly. And I think the gig was mostly Men Behaving Sadly people that might have different people in it as well. I can't remember. It was a one-off gig I did. The drummer in this band was Joan Armatrading's drummer, who also played saxophone for Joan Armatrading, as well as drums, of course. Oh. And he was an incredibly funny character. And I didn't really talk to him much about Joan Armatrading, but he was more entertained by my cheesy disco that I ran in the breaks. Because I had at the time, 2 CD decks. It was the Moroccan soul disco equipment that I borrowed. I had the 2 CD decks. I had all those songs I talk about on this podcast that you're immediately going to get people to dance to. And we was at this really fancy golf club full of probably very wealthy people. The car park was like BMW Mercedes-tastic. So I pull up in my Skoda. It was a thing. But me and Joan's drummer, whose name completely escapes me, he's standing with me. We're chatting about stuff, and I'm running this disco. And I said, "Oh, they're gonna love this one." And I put YMCA on, and all these people start dancing. And he thought it was the most hilarious thing he had ever seen. So I have a direct, almost rock and roll connection to the amazing Joan Armatrading.
Another band that Tim is like a cousin third removed something.
Yeah, but check her out there. I mean, outside of my one-off gig that I played with Joan's drummer, she's really good, and you should check her out.
I would imagine that I've heard her music. She might just be one of those people I don't know by name. Does that make sense, Tim? Like if I hear the song, I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I will go on a whole thing because somebody's probably yelling at me in the distance like, Joy, how dare you?
Yeah, I mean, so she's an iconic female singer-songwriter and from the UK. I mean, how could you not know her?
I don't know. The next one is Miriam Faithful.
Marianne Faithful.
I don't know where. I do know who that is. I don't know where fearful came from. It's the opposite of faithful, Tim. Broken English. Then we have Linda Ronstadt, How Do I Make You Love Me, and Grace Slick's Dreams.
Grace Slick, of course, was the singer in Jefferson Airplane and then Jefferson Starship. And then later on the band Starship, which, of course, is that great song, We Built This City on Rock and Roll. And also Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. And I don't think she's in the Star Wars Holiday Special. I think that incarnation of Jefferson Starship doesn't have Grace Slick in it, but Grace Slick is amazing too, and she is now an artist. She lives in some like hippie community somewhere, and she paints.
That seems very Grace Slick if I've ever heard it. I guess I didn't know what happened to her, but that seems like what would have happened to her.
She's the kind of person who'd be living in Floyd, Virginia, but she's not living in Floyd, but it's that kind of thing.
Absolutely. So then I said Pat Benatar won for Fire and Ice. Against her was Donna Summer's Cold Love, Stevie Nicks, Edge of 17, Yoko Ono's Walking on Thin Ice, and then Lulu, Who's Fooling Who, which we are pretty familiar with all those songs. But then in 1983, guess who won again? Pat Benatar, Shadows of the Night. And then in 1984, guess who won again? Pat Benatar, Love is a Battlefield. So we're going to skip past all those because it's just her again. Now, in 1985, we bring in a new contender who may dominate the charts for 4 consecutive years. Tim could probably guess. Drum roll, everybody. It is Tina Turner. Better Be Good to Me.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember Private Dancer by T. Turner?
Yes.
I was the private dancer.
Were you the private dancer?
No, I wasn't.
I knew it. I mean, Better Be Good to Me, though, is one of my top Tina Turner songs. Like, it ranks up there as, like, one of her most amazing, like, and I know it's a little cliche. You could hear it on the radio right now, but I think it really sells everything about her as a person.
Yeah, I mean, Tina Turner had an amazing career, you know, from the earliest beginnings, then through with Icon Tina Turner, and then as a solo artist. I mean, like you buy an album that's like the greatest hits of Tina Turner, and every single song is like, oh, it's this one, it's this one, it's this one. But yes, Better Be Good to Me is a great song. What year did you say that was? That
was, and I scrolled down, so I guess 1985.
Yeah, it sounds like 1985 when you hear that song back. And also, if I remember correctly, it is on the soundtrack to Miami Vice.
I mean, that sounds right. I'll take your word for it.
Can't you just see? Did you watch Miami Vice when it was on?
Yeah, I've watched plenty of episodes of Miami Vice.
Yeah, so you can see Crockett and Tubbs probably Later season, they're in the white Ferrari Testarossa, and they're going off looking at some drug deal somewhere. They're undercover,
Their
and they're
pants
going
are
on.
definitely white.
Yeah, and they're going on about keys. Oh, they were importing 52 keys. And then like Tina Turner's "Better Be Good to Me" is playing in the background, and then there's like a an ambush and stuff.
I mean, that sounds 100% accurate. I imagine that song's played in a lot of different, you know what I mean, TV shows from the 80s. So that song beat out Lita Ford's "Dancing on the Edge," Bonnie Taylor, Here She Comes," Wendy O. Williams, "Wow." Don't come for me, I don't know who Wendy O. Williams is.
I don't either.
Do you know who Pia Zandora is? "Rock It Out."
Yeah, Pia Zadora. She is like I think she was an actor and appeared in some TV shows and also had a music career. She was like one of those people. She was like one of those people from the 80s that was always around. Like it'd probably be interviewed on David Letterman a lot and stuff.
Google her. Let's see if I recognize her face. Pia Zandora. Oh,
Pia,
I've seen her before.
Pia Zadora.
Oh yeah, I've seen her before. That doesn't surprise me. She looks like she's very short.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
think she was a very tiny lady, from what I
Height.
understand.
Let's Google that while I'm here. Let's just answer it. How tall was she? Why can't I find her height? It's up for question, guys, how tall she was.
She could be 3 feet. She could be 8 feet.
What was her height? All right, let's try this again. She was exactly 5 foot tall. I don't know what that is in UK words. Is it the
It's
same?
probably 5 foot tall because England's. I mean, certainly when I was there, as I said, it's weird. It's like half metric and half imperial. And
I just said, I don't know what that is in UK words.
yeah, I mean, I would imagine it's probably the same 5 feet tall. But then
Okay.
again, you'll be standing in a pub drinking a pint of beer, talking about the fact that Pia Zadora is 5 feet tall, and then say, "Oh, I put 32 liters of petrol in my car."
So, when you get measured height, do they use feet then, Tim?
Well, growing up, it was always feet and inches, but sometimes they'll talk about it in centimeters. But England is like stuck in the middle of this stuff because they sort of adopted metric and they teach metric in school, but there's so many imperial measures still. It's weird.
Well, if it's in a centimeter, 5 foot is exactly 152.4 centimeters, everyone.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
like
know.
that's like 1.5 meters.
I'll take that. Whatever Tim just said
Well,
sounds right.
there's 100 centimeters in a meter.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I did know that. You're right. I mean, I know what a centimeter, for those who are not, who just think Americans don't understand centimeters at all, our rulers do say feet and centimeters. Tim can testify. Like, they're all on the same ruler. They're just on the opposite sides. But we don't ever talk about it.
That's true. It's just I still can't get my head around most imperial measurements. And like if I'm cutting big chunks of wood, I might use the inches side because it's easier to measure like that. And especially if you're making a shelving unit for your house, for example, like I have recently or in the last few years, when I cut the shelves, I cut them in inches because whoever built this house in feet and inches. So it would be weird to be in centimeters and it wouldn't fit right. But generally, I measure things in centimeters and meters. And certainly like guitar adjustments. I may have spoken about this before, but when you say you want your guitar set up a certain way and they say it's 3/64ths, it's like, what does that even mean? That's like a maths test. It's not
Really is.
it's not like measurement. I prefer to say 1.5 millimeters. It's so much easier.
Well, and to be completely transparent with you guys, most people in America would say we're totally fine. Like, we don't know why we are the only one. You know what I mean? Like, we'd be fine with using the other measurements. I don't know why we have to be different. But I will say, growing up, when I think of someone's height, I can only think about it in feet and inches because that's all I've ever known. You know what I mean? So, like, in my brain, I know exactly what somebody who's 3 foot, someone who's 4 foot, someone who's about what they would probably look like, right, Tim? Because I'm 5'4". So I can kind of reference that in my body. And, there's a thing about like from your end of your finger to your knuckle is about an inch, right, Tim? We've all said
Sure.
that. I'm sure you've heard that before. So there's like reference points, but I don't have any reference point for measurements outside of that, besides cooking. Cooking, like, like when you're cooking or baking, you get a lot of things and, like, you know what I mean, pints and different things like that. And so, like, I can understand that. But when it comes to looking at someone's height, I don't know how to explain what that is. Also, I don't know what a stone is, like, weight wise. I can't. I'll see
Yeah.
people say I'm 57 stones, and I'm like, is that just like we're weighing rocks? Because I understand that's where it comes from. It's something to do with like back in like medieval times, right, Tim?
It's something like that, but certainly growing up, your weight would always be stone. You'd be 7 stone, blah 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 blah. And then here, they don't use that. Everything's just pounds.
Hold on, I'm Googling this because I have heard that the stones thing actually comes from like back in medieval times. They were weighing stones.
Well,
But
it's
I
like
don't know if that's
horses.
true.
Horses are measured in hands.
What?
Have you never heard that before, where
I
a
don't
horse
think
is
I
so many
have.
hands high?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess maybe I have.
But I mean, it's
Maybe.
not literally your hand. Much like stone, the unit of measurement of a hand is so many inches or so many centimeters or whatever. But like if you officially talk about the height of a horse, you would say it's so many hands high.
So I am correct. The name stone does derive from the historical use of stones for weights. Okay, I had heard that before. I mean, it's logical, and it's not like I can give you any reference point to where the word pound comes from. I don't know. I have no idea. But at least stones make sense. But then I'm like, but there's different size of stones. So are you like a big stone? Like if I'm 40 stones,
I think stone is cast in stone. Literally, I think one UK stone is so many pounds. And you
I
should you
have
should give that a go
questions.
because I'm not sure what the conversion rate is.
One UK stone in pounds. I'm literally writing what Tim said. One British stone. It's 14 pounds. For every one stone, you're 14 pounds.
Okay.
Okay. So by English standard, a stone was 12.5 pounds, meaning that 8 stones weighed 100 pounds, 100 weight. That's what someone's saying. But anyway, it says 1 to 14, Tim. 1 to 14. There's your answer.
Once again, isn't the metric system great? Kilograms, there you go.
It's true. But every time someone says I'm like 4 stones, I'm like, what do you mean you're 4 stones? There's not very people who be 4 stones because that would be what? 28 plus 28. Tim, not a great example, but you know what I mean. Anyway, back to the music podcast. So with that being said, we're going to skip ahead because Tina Turner just dominated for like most of the 80s. So you got Better Be Good to Me, Tina Turner's One of the Living, Tina Turner's Back Where You Started. Tina Turner's, would you just say Tina Live in Europe? But when I clicked into it, it looks like she did a version of, what was it? That's what won. I don't know why some of these. Which, by the way, did you know that Tina Live in Europe, have you ever heard this, Tim, from 1988? She did a
Yeah,
bunch of remakes.
I think isn't that she does a duet with Brian Adams on there? I think.
What you get is what you see. I break every rule. I can't stand the rain.
Oh, that's a
Two
great track.
people, girls, typical male, black, back where you started, which is Brian Adams. Better be good to me. Of course, she does that again. Addicted to love, Robert
Oh yeah,
Palmer.
yeah. Addicted. That's it. Her cover of Addicted to Love.
That's what she won for. That's what
Yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah.
googling it
But
while we were
she
talking.
has performed with Brian Adams as well. But yes, the cover of Addicted to Love is really
It's
good. That
really
live
good.
version is superb.
And then Private Dancer, We Don't Need Another Hero, which we've all heard before. What's love got to do with it? Let's stay together and show some respect on this album. I mean,
Can I
all
give
great.
you can I give you a Private Dancer fact?
What's that, Tim?
It was written by Mark Knopfler, who is the guy from Dire Straits, and the track features Jeff Beck on guitar.
I don't know that I knew that, but that sounds about right. It
Yeah.
has a really good guitar riff to it, so that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, as I may have mentioned in this podcast before, one of my big rock and roll regrets is I never got to see Jeff Beck live. Jeff Beck was never an accessible guitar player. He was the guitar player's guitar player. You go and see. You would have gone to see Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen is such an amazing, influential rock guitar player. But for most people, you'd go and see Van Halen because you love the songs. And he played those, he played for the song. And there's a lot of guitar players like that. Brian May, again. You go and see a Queen concert, Queen and Adam Lambert concert. Yes, Brian May is amazing. He's going to play a big guitar solo, but you're going along because you know the songs. Jeff Beck played music that sounded like it came from a video game for the most part. And it wasn't really accessible. And he didn't quite have the same success a lot of these other names did because of the kind of music he made. It was very much music for musicians, like very much sort of virtuoso style playing rather than accessible pop, if you know what I mean. However, his guitar playing was so amazing. And as a fellow guitar player, I always wanted to go and witness it live. I've seen a bunch of the live concerts, the Ronnie Scott's concert. He played at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I've found some other like footage of live stuff he did. He played at the Iridium in New York. Amazing, amazing guitar playing. And I just wanted to see that in real life. And I said to Hannah, I said, if he comes within 100 miles of here, I'm going to see Jeff Beck because I just need to see this. Tick that box. And we lost him. And I never got to experience that.
And the thing about it is he's one of those people that I am not like, as you know, guitar is not my thing the way it is Tim's. Obviously, if you haven't listened to this podcast before, that shouldn't be a shocker by any stretch. But he's interesting to me because as we've kind of like been on this podcast, I learned more and more about him. You know, you've got like the Yardbirds, and then he was playing on Buddy Holly, and he's one of those musicians that like was involved behind the scenes in a lot of things I didn't know he was like involved in. Does that make sense to him? And so his name comes up 24/7, and I'm like, how did I miss this for so long? But like he's really the backbone of a lot of music that people don't realize, myself included, until we started doing the No Name Music Cast.
Yeah, like I said, he didn't make accessible music that casual music fans listen to. If you're going to be into Jeff Beck, you need to know about Jeff Beck, and you need to be into jazz fusion. You need to be into some of the soundscape type music that he was making. He mostly made instrumental music too. He played with a bunch of different singers over the years, but the bulk of his output is instrumental in nature, which again is a certain subset of listeners will listen to that. A lot of people are not interested in listening to instrumental guitar music.
What do you mean, Tim? It's so great. We all love it.
Well, to be honest, I don't really like instrumental guitar music.
I know. I was giving you a hard time.
I think Joe Satriani and Steve Vai are amazing guitarists, and some of their instrumental music is really good. And they're like seen as the high bar in that genre. But I can't, outside of Surfing with the Alien and Passion and Warfare, I can't listen to an hour and a half of them just like whittling on about this, that, and the other.
It gets boring. It just gets boring.
It really does. And it's not the stuff that I enjoy too much. But some people love it.
I mean, to each their own. But for me, it gets boring. It's just like we've talked about. Drum solos should be limited to a certain amount of seconds. Like after maybe 30 seconds of a drum solo, I'm perfectly fine with you going back to the regular music. But that's not to insult the musician, because these are wonderful musicians. It's just interesting because he's one of those people that until we started doing the podcast, I mean, I knew who he was from like things like, you know, like I said, the Yardbirds is the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Jeff Beck, right, Tim? That's pretty obvious. Yeah. And I've heard his name, and I've heard people say he's like, you know, a guitar aficionado, but like I had never really realized how much he was involved in different things until we started doing the podcast. I really did.
There we are. I would do a Jeff Beck episode, but no one would listen to it.
And I'd be staring at Tim going, great, I know what that is.
It's like, yeah, let's listen. Joy, what did you think of Blues for the Papa? What did you think of Big Block? And you go, oh, yeah, I love Big Block. Or what, from Guitar Shop? And I go, yeah, Joy, wasn't it great? You go, oh, I love that.
I'd be like, is that a Lego?
With Terry Bozzio? And I say, yeah.
Blocks remind me to think of Legos. And I'd probably seen that episode talking about Legos or something, because I'd have no clue what Tim was talking about. You just to be smiling and nodding, going, okay. It'd be like the Y2K episode at the end where I went, well, so glad I had this conversation with myself.
I would recommend, though, Joy, that said, you listen to 'Cause We Ended as Lovers from the album Blow by Blow. That is a really, really good Jeff Beck track.
Very specific.
Yeah, it's an instrumental track, but it builds and builds, and it's really good from almost at the very beginning of his career from the Blow by Blow album. That is really good. But again, it's like little nuggets of stuff which I think crossed over.
This would probably surprise you, but you know who would probably fall down the rabbit hole more than I would be? Charlie. Charlie really enjoys some random stuff, including instrumental music, so I'll make him listen to it as well. He's a weird dude. I like him, but he's a weird dude.
Well, there we are. Well, if I'm being honest with you, Joy, I'm not terribly normal just generally. So,
No,
I mean, it's
not
fine.
Are you kidding me, Tim? I did a whole episode over me trying to say what was it, two hit heroes. I'm not the most normal, but anyway. All right, back to this. So we go all the way through '89. Tina Turner's just winning after winning after winning, and we go into 1990, and this will not be a shocker to anyone. It is Bonnie Raitt. And it's Nick of Time is the song, also the album, because you know the song's the title from the album.
Yeah, this was around the time that Bonnie Raitt had a really big renaissance. She'd been out there getting it done since the 70s. And in blues music circles and in guitar circles, everyone knew of the brilliance of Bonnie Raitt. I mean, her slide guitar playing is probably the greatest ever. You've got your Duane Allman, you've got your Bonnie Raitt, and that's pretty much the high bar when it comes to the world of slide guitar. But like the rest of the world hadn't really heard of Bonnie Raitt, and it was that album that broke her out.
It really was. And I'm a huge Bonnie Raitt fan. And I will say that I'm not surprised that this is the first. I'm really happy she won because she was against quite a few people that, I mean, could have very easily won. You've got Pat Benatar, Let's Stay Together, Melissa Etheridge, Brave and Crazy, Cyndi Lauper, I Drove All Night, and Tina Turner for an Affair, which are all fantastic, amazing musicians. So that's a heck of a lineup to beat, to be honest, Tim.
It is, but I bet if you asked every single one of those artists who was the more deserving person to win that Grammy, they would probably tell you Bonnie Raitt.
I agree with that. And to be fair, Tina, you already won 4 times. Let somebody else have it.
I mean, maybe her cabinet won't fit another Grammy in there. Maybe her shelf space. Like I've been culling my CDs because I'm running out of space.
Yeah.
Maybe T Turner just didn't want it. She's like, well, I'm out there in Switzerland. I've only got so much space. There's no room.
Well, you know what's crazy is I bet if I went down, this is just the 4 that she won from the rock music category, Best Female Rock Artist. I imagine Tina Turner's probably won. How many? Wait, let's just Google it. How many Grammys has Tina Turner won? Because it's probably a lot, isn't it? I imagine. Let's see. 8. Oh no, 12. It's 12. Including the 3 Hall of Fame. So she got 8 competitive awards, 1 Lifetime Achievement Award, and 3 Grammy Hall of Fame awards.
There we go.
There you go, if anybody was wondering. I mean, I knew it had to be a lot. It's Tina Turner, but
Sure.
Apparently they're asking, has anyone ever won 7 Grammys in one night? However, Michael Jackson won 8 Grammys in one night. There you go.
I could believe that. I mean,
and you can guess what album it was, Tim. One guess.
It was probably Thriller.
It was Thriller. Go ahead. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say that was around the time when Michael Jackson was probably the biggest celebrity in the world. I mean, if you'd have asked most people on Earth who Michael Jackson was, they would have probably known who he was.
And he's one of those artists that, even though he was American, I will say he has universal fame. Like, it's not just like when you see like different people talk about him, he wasn't just an artist in one country. Like, he really was like across the board, kind of like the Beatles. Now I'm curious, when did the Grammys start? 1959? Huh.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think it was that long ago, Tim. I don't know what I thought. All right. Well, back to the episode. 1991, we have a lot of miles with Black Velvet, which is probably no surprise to anybody.
No, I mean, she's probably a one-hit wonder with that song. The album that it comes from is really good. And I've got some of her other albums, and they're not quite as good. But certainly Black Velvet was everywhere. It was a huge, huge hit for Alana Miles. And it's one of those songs that sort of permeated into band set lists of bands that I was in.
And every person in the world has done a remake of it.
Yeah, and when you go to a jam night, normally a female singer will come up to the stage and say, "Do you know Black Velvet?" And be like, "Yeah, I can play that." And I've probably played it with every female singer that came to the jam night over the years at one point. So
I will say it doesn't surprise me because it's one of those songs that, like, first of all, there's about 40,000 versions of it. She's definitely a one-hit wonder, but she probably made enough money off of it. She never really needed to do anything else.
Well, did she write it?
It's written by Canadian singers Christopher Ward and David Tyson. and performed by Canadian songwriter and singer. So she's Canadian, Elena Miles. So no, she didn't write it, but she
Well, she
didn't
would.
sell it.
Well, she would get a performance royalty from it, but the people who
I
wrote the song
imagine.
would be making the main chunk of money. But
Good point.
I do hope that she was able to string that out into some other kind of career. I don't know even what she's doing now. If she's still out there getting it done.
Now, what's interesting about that song is, isn't it played in like E minor, Tim?
Yeah.
And so it's not as like, it has an interesting time signature to it that's different than a lot of other songs you heard during that time. I
It
don't know what
is
the time signature is.
I know, but unless you play at the jam night, then everyone just plays it in 4/4 time. But it's
Oh, I think it's like 6/8 or something in the
yeah,
actual
it means the
original.
push is in a different place.
Tim's like, but no one who's at a bar drinking cares about that, Joy. But what I was getting at is it's a very interesting song if you listen to it from like a music standpoint. It's got some interesting introductions to it, which I think made it stand out from other music you heard during that time.
And it has a great guitar break in it as well.
I mean, that's what's all that matters. It's also got that bluesy sound, obviously, soul kind of. So she went up against Melissa Etheridge, The Angels, Janet Jackson, Black Cat, Stevie Nicks, Whole Lot of Trouble, and Tina Turner's. I mean, will there be any one of these that Tina Turner is not nominated in? I do not know. Stevie Windows. So for some reason, we don't have anyone in 1992. I don't know what was happening in 1992, but we're just going to skip past it because I could not find any reference to that. Maybe it was left off that year or something. Something happened in 1992. Anyway, 1993, Melissa Etheridge won, and it was Ain't It Heavy. Once again, not a shocker by any stretch. She's one of those people that, like, I forget how actually like famous she was for 5 minutes because she's not like somebody that people talk about very often.
No, and I mean I'm sure. Let's do the check. You know, now I'm embracing the Spotify. We can do this. We can have up to the minute.
Live
Alan,
action
Alana
numbers.
Miles. Here we go. Alana Miles.
Oh no, we were talking about Melissa Etheridge,
Oh,
but Atlanta
oh,
Miles, I do want to know how many
okay.
listens has it gotten?
Okay. So Alana Miles has 379 million listens, but like
Okay,
all of the songs are from that very first album.
okay. Now Melissa Etheridge. I'm
All
curious to
right.
know what her number one song is and how many listens she got.
Melissa Etheridge. Okay, Melissa Etheridge, she has 1 million monthly listens. I mean, I will say she's amazing. I like Melissa Etheridge.
Me
She's
too.
like she's kind of Sheryl Crowish in a way.
Yes.
So though Sheryl Crow was able to break through the mainstream, Melissa Etheridge is she's had major hits, but she was never able to make the big time like Sheryl Crow did.
Yeah, I
Um,
can agree with that. Yeah, and
uh,
for some reason, she's just like an artist people just don't talk about.
yeah, and David Crosby was the
Mhm.
father to her child.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that to me. So,
Or
anyway,
I
Melissa,
should say surrogate father to her child.
yes. Melissa Etheridge ate it heavy. Now, she was against Lita Ford, which we talked about, Shot
Hmm.
of Poison. Allison Moyet, I don't know. It
Alison
will.
Moyet. Alison Moyet.
Oh, okay, I know that name. I
Alison
just didn't know
Moyet
what
is
it was on
great.
writing.
That's a big 80s singer. I mean, she
I've
had
never
those.
seen it written, Tim.
Yeah, I
I've
mean,
never gonna live that
I think I have
down.
a couple of albums by Alison Moyet. She did that cover of the Old Devil Called Love.
She has
She has a
that.
great voice, and she's still out there
She's a
playing.
counter alto. She's got that like bluesy sound. It's very
Yeah.
powerful. I know who she is. I know who she is. After I said it, I was like, oh, that's what it is. I didn't read it that way. Okay, guys. It won't be long. And then I guess Atlanta Miles was recognized again for Rocking Horse. And then Tina Turner, the Bee, is back because we're on a PG podcast.
There you
But
go.
anyway, we love Tina Turner though in this house. All right, so I'm just gonna say it real quickly because we don't have to go back and do her. But and then again, Melissa Etheridge won "Come to My Window," which is my favorite Melissa Etheridge song. I will say it is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Great song.
So then she beat out Sheryl Crow. I'm going to be a wheel someday, which Sheryl Crow will be on this list here shortly, Tim. You'll be happy to know we will get our Sheryl Crow on. Liz Phair, Supernova, Sam Phillips, Circle of Fire, and Bonnie Raitt's Love Sneaking Up on You. Now, in 1996, we take a turn, but a good turn because I love this artist. It's Alanis Morissette. You ought to know.
Yeah. Jagged Little Pill, the album this comes from, was huge. It was a soundtrack of the 90s, really. And as we all say, this album is her finest work. She had been done wrong. She wrote this album. She's angry in all the songs. She has a lot to say. And then the next album, she didn't quite have the same anger and fire, and it wasn't quite as good. But yes, this
I love
song,
this album, though.
superb. Another Canadian artist.
She's one of those people that she seems really fun to like talk to too. When you see her and like when she's interviewing and stuff, Tim, like I enjoy Alanis Morissette as a person.
Yeah,
Like something about her personality is great.
interesting fact as well, Taylor Hawkins was originally Alison, it's hard to say words at this juncture. Alanis Morissette. Let me just start that again. Okay, we're going to do this. Alanis Morissette, originally her drummer was Taylor Hawkins, who of course later on joined the Foo Fighters. There we are. It was hard, but I fixed it.
Tim, they're gonna think you're me by the way you're speaking at this point.
Joy is rubbing off. Joy, I've been in the house all day today. We've had flooring put in today. I had new carpet put on my stairs, and I had wooden flooring or LPV flooring put on our landing. The guys got here at 8:30 this morning. They left at 4 o'clock. They were banging and crashing and banging and crashing all day. The cat was in my workshop. She had a box of food and she was crying her head off all day. And
She was not happy about their music choice.
they had the loudest Bluetooth speaker known to man going in the house. And they had good taste in music. It was rock music, classic rock music. Probably some predictable hits, but it was fine. But it was like bone-shakingly loud in my house. And the funny thing was, he'd almost done. The guy was almost done. He was finishing up the stairs. He was doing the last part of the stairs. There's a crew of three. Two of them had already left to do another job. And this one guy was finishing up. And I got up for a drink. I said, "Oh, how's it going?" He said, "Oh, we're nearly done, blah, blah, blah." He said, "Oh, I meant to ask you." He said, "Was the music too loud?"
You were like, it's fine.
And I said to him, "I'm a musician, music lover." I said, "It's all good." I said, "You guys have got a good taste in music." "Oh, okay." But I mean, at this point, 6 hours later, it's irrelevant.
So he's got a cat screaming at him. He's hearing construction noise all day mixed with probably a few cliche classic rock songs on repeat.
Yeah, and sitting on the sofa trying to do my day job. And, answering emails, answering IMs, working on help desk tickets, trying to solve problems all the way through the day while this is all going on. But, and the big but is...
While Carry On My Wayward Son is just blaring
That played today. I can tell you that for a fact. But I will say... The carpet we had upstairs and on the stairs was awful, absolutely awful.
Yeah.
It was probably from the 80s. It wasn't original with the house, but it was close to that. It got to the point where it's so bad that when you hoover it, it fell apart. Bits of it would come out.
Yeah, so it was ready to go.
And there was ridges in it. And it was one of those things when we moved in the house, we was like, we're going to replace this eventually. But we're lucky. Our budget has got to the point where we could have started afford to doing some of these floors. And the stairs and that piece of carpet was one of the first ones we ripped out. And what we've done looks really, really nice. However, if I'm stumbling my words, that was the day I had downstairs.
I just love how the first song I named, Tim's like, yeah, that played. I probably could give him a list of every single one that played today.
Give me three more predictable classic rock songs, and I'll tell you if they played today.
Oh, no, now that I feel like I'm on the spot, I'm not going to think of them. Was there Guns N' Roses somewhere in there?
No, actually, no Guns N' Roses today.
Oh, okay. God, now that I said it, I can't think of anything. Kansas. Was there like a Chicago, or was it more like 80s hair bands? Poison?
No, it wasn't any Poison. It was like Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, yeah, I could have guessed that.
Iron Man was another one I remember.
Did Sweet Home Alabama play at some point?
Yes, that definitely played today.
Oh, God. Was Bon Jovi on this list?
No Bon Jovi, but the thing is that the crew that was doing the work periodically would sing along with it as well.
That makes sense. I'm like, was Sweet Home Alabama there? That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh,
now that you said it, I'm like, my mind went blank.
Bohemian Rhapsody was on the list.
Of course it was.
And it was probably like Spotify's top rock songs or whatever. I mean, if they'd have played like Bro Country or Rap All Day, I may have asked them to, hey fellas, do you mind if you just knock that down a little bit? But it was like whatever. Just they came in to do a job, and I didn't want to disturb
Motley
them. So there's
Crue on
nothing
there.
to- Which
Was
one?
Girls, Motley Crue somewhere's
No,
on there.
it was
Tim
more, it was more
Warrant,
classic than that.
Warrant, Cinderella, Twisted Sister,
No, it's more
White Snake.
Smoke on the Water was on there.
Okay, that makes sense. I just knew for some reason when you said it, I just had an image of this like "Carry On My Wayward Son" blaring through your house. I knocked a door recently doing an event that we don't need to talk about, and I was advertising for something happening. And when I knocked on the door, there was a guy singing "Carry On My Wayward Son," very loud karaoke when I got to his door, and I think I embarrassed him.
Yeah, well, the problem with these songs, and the fact that our floor fitting friends like them, and the fact that you're a person that you went up to their door singing that song, is there's a good proportion of people that listen to 96.3 ROV and similar rock radio stations that have a playlist of 22 songs, and they're all those songs.
Yeah, I was going to say Boston might have been on there somewhere.
Yeah, More Than a Feeling, that was played today.
Oh, Journey. I didn't say Journey, Tim.
Yeah,
How many Journey songs were on the list?
100%.
I can't believe when you put me on the spot, I didn't think Journey. Then you put him on the spot, I'm like, dang, my mind went completely blank. That's why I said I would be the person that would be wearing like a Michael Jackson shirt, and someone would put a microphone in front of my face and they'd ask me to name a song, and I'd just stare at them. I just know I would, like, for some reason. But yeah, it's got to be Journey. Yeah, that checks out. They had to be on the list. All right, so we were on topic. I don't remember where we left off. Alanis Morissette. All right, we got to get to this one because this is one of Tim's favorites, and he will have a lot to say. In 1997, we have Sheryl Crow, "If It Makes You Happy."
Yeah, that was at the sort of beginning of the run of Sheryl Crow. I mean, Tuesday Night Music Club is probably the definitive article when it comes to the world of Sheryl Crow. And that song, All I Want to Do, really takes me back to a very particular time in my life, very much so. But Cheryl just makes such great music. And again, she's another artist I've never seen. And she hasn't toured extensively recently. And next time she tours, I have to go and see Sheryl Crow. I think she played in the Roanoke Civic Center, and also she played on that stage at Elmwood Park, which is not far from here. But I had a gig that day and I couldn't go to it. I mean, just Cheryl is amazing.
Well, and she also played at the Super Bowl, like, was it last year or a year before? I don't know. There was a recent, she did like the pre-show to the Super Bowl. And I will say, I was taken off guard because I didn't even recognize her. It took me a second. I was like, who's the blonde playing guitar? And then like they zoomed in. I was like, oh, it's Sheryl Crow. Like it just like did not register with me that was her. She kind of does look very different than when we were younger, Tim. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Sure, but we all do.
It's true. If I had the money she had, I'd look very different too. But it was just funny because she's apparently a Kansas Chief fan, I guess, which is the one that Taylor Swift's boyfriend, fiance, whatever he is now, plays for.
Is that? Can I ask you a question? Is that the one with the ball or the one where they drive in a circle?
It's the one with the ball.
One with the ball. Okay.
But anyway, so they were at the Super Bowl and she was part of the opening, and I just remember like being caught off guard. It might have been I don't remember which one it was, but I was like, is that, I was like, oh, it's Sheryl Crow. Where did she come from? But anyway, I mean, she sounded wonderful. Of course, she's a great guitarist, as we all know, but I just wasn't expecting her to be there. And I don't even remember who she was playing with exactly, but it was just one of those times where you like do a third, you do like a glance and you're sitting there going, I should know who that is. Why does she look kind of familiar? And then I kept looking and I kept looking. I was like, oh, it's Sheryl Crow. Now, I will say my go-to Sheryl Crow song is if it makes you happy. That's probably my first from that first album in the early 90s, mid 90s that I love. I do love that song.
Yeah, I mean, I love all the songs of Tuesday Night Music Club, but all of our albums are great.
It's true. And she's had so many hits. I'm not a big fan of her picture with Kid Rock. I could deal without that. But Soak Up the Sun was everywhere's. There's that one song, Every Day is a Winding Road was everywhere's. I mean, and she's also one of those people who's been in TV. She like appeared in a lot of 90s TV shows. I don't know if you knew that, Tim, but she was like One Tree Hill and those type shows when I was younger. She would pop up a lot. So Woman of many talents, Miss Sheryl Crow.
I know she plays guitar, she plays bass, she plays keys. I mean, a
Well,
powerhouse. And again, I'm disappointed I've never seen her perform.
well, we'll have to make that happen. Well, everybody start a GoFundMe to put money towards Tim going to go see Sheryl Crow.
Well, buying the tickets is not really the problem. It's Cheryl actually touring anywhere near me. That's the
well,
issue.
we gotta spend money so we can ship you off somewhere, Tim.
I don't know. Let's have a look. Cheryl Crow 2025 tour dates. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where is she performing? Let's have a look. Well, she is this weekend. She's playing in Ridgefield, Connecticut, and then
See.
she's playing in Nashville. It's like Love Now sessions, which I think is some kind of streaming type thing. And then she's playing in North Charleston, South Carolina in April of next year. But there's no other like big tour dates.
So we're gonna start a GoFundMe to send Tim to South Carolina. Everybody, let's do it. Anyway, with that being said, the people she beat out were Tracy Bonham, Mother, Tracy Chapman, Give Me One Reason, great song. Joan Osborne, Spiderweb, another good song. And Bonnie Raitt's Burning Down the House. All really good songs, to be honest.
Absolutely great songs. Well, I tell you what, Joy, I think you've probably got time for one more Grammy year before we need to wrap up the podcast.
I knew we were getting close. So I'm going to do one more, and then I was going to tell you guys who's won the most, and then we can be done. Okay. So this is not a surprise to anyone, but I still associate this person as a one-hit wonder. You will definitely all know this song. It is Fiona Apple, Criminal.
Yeah.
From 1998.
Yeah, she's another artist who's got a lot of material out there, who's very popular with people that love her and her music, but probably one hit wonder for most people.
Well, what's funny is it says she has 3 Grammy Awards, which surprised me because I really didn't think that. But she does seem to have like a cult classic following. There's like a subgenre of people who are very obsessed with Fiona Apple. And I've heard when you see her live and stuff, she's wonderful. Mm-hmm. I would not be one of those people because I'm going to be honest with you. Outside of Criminal, I really don't know much about her. Don't come from the internet. It's just the truth. It is a great song, though. It's one of the songs that defined my childhood. Like, I mean, I had this album, loved it, was everywhere, but not necessarily someone I know that much. Now, she beat out Meredith Brooks, and we're not going to say that word, but you guys can all guess what the name of that song is. Annie DiFranco, Shy, Abramore's Four Leaf Clover, and then Patti Smith's 1959.
There we go.
All right. So with that being said, people who have multiple wins, we kind of already talked about them. Pat Benatar, Tina Turner, Sheryl Crow, Melissa Etheridge, and Alanis Morissette. Now, the most nominees are Melissa Etheridge, followed up by Bonnie Raitt, Pat Benatar, and Tina Turner. Then it goes Sheryl Crow, Stevie Nicks. Yeah, not all shocking.
Yeah, a lot of the same artists in both of those variations.
Yes. I will say, though, I am a little sad that this is no longer a category. It ended in 2004 with Pink winning Trouble, which I love Pink. I know Tim's probably not super familiar with Pink's work, but I do love Pink as an artist. So
yeah, I mean, I've played Just Like a Pill before now.
Yeah, I love all of her music. She's actually, and she performs when she sings live, but she does like acrobatics. Have you seen it, Tim?
No, I've never paid much attention to Pink live.
Well, she like does like full, like she's very physically active, like I guess very muscular as a person. I don't know how to explain it. Like very like into like that kind of stuff. And she like floats through the air and does flips and stuff while she sings live. And it's very obvious she's singing live, so good for Pink. With that being said, Tim, is there anything you'd like to tell the people?
Just be kind to everyone that you meet.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
To remind me of another day to come.